So you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But this could use some improvements. So I improved it. This is the Wither Skeleton farm, if you didn't see last episode. This is how it was based up here before, and we would just hit them over here. But since last episode, I switched it out a bit. I added a third layer, so now we have 3 platforms. Not a third layer, a third platform. I added some lava to slow them down so they don't die, because some were dying because they would fall all the way from there, and then even that, they would take damage up there. And they'd somehow take enough damage to die down here. You might be like, oh, the rates are kind of bad. What did you do? Well, I have all 18 chunks around me loaded. If I turn this to 6, in just a moment here, we're going to see some crazy rates. Yeah, already from that middle platform, we're getting a lot. And a lot. But, in the meantime, I'm going to switch this off, actually. And load up those chunks. I'm going to show you the levers I have here. So I have Wither Skeleton Collection. This is to move them. This is the piston setup we created in the last episode. Brings them over here. But then the second one is Item Collection. So this automatically turns on. You can actually hear the droppers. Not anymore. But that turns on automatically when we turn this on. But if we just want to turn that on and flush any existing items we have, we can just switch that lever on. Our system of collecting the swords is just dropping them there, but our system of collecting the items is pretty elegant. We have a lot of Wither Skeleton skulls, a lot of bones. We're full on almost both. We're full of coal and we have lots of blocks. I made a bone block because I think that's the main use we have for bones. I don't think we use anything other than bone meal. But I'll make sure to keep some. It's also why I expanded this, so you have a lot more storage for these things. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this farm. I'm actually going to switch it off because I think whatever items in the system, we have enough of anything we need. With the skeleton skulls, bones, and coal, we are good. Okay, so to answer your question, yeah, I've been spending a lot of time here. At the I'm just assuming you guys had a question, and that question being, why are you at level 481? Yeah, I just assumed you'd be wondering. Oh, nice voice crack. So yeah, I've just been spending a lot of time at the pigman farm, which is why my level is so high. I forget, we can just use this. Anyway, I've talked about this before. Hello there. But basically, it's why we. Oh no. No! No! It's all gone! No! What? Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm actually gonna die. Holy cow. I don't know where I died. Oh, here's my stuff. It's all just gone. I mean, I'm not being killed by a stupid skeleton. Or maybe I am being killed by a stupid skeleton. Well, I know what I'm gonna do. We have all our stuff. Next. It's literally all gone. Okay. I'm going to game rule doFireTick false. Well, that's a great start to the episode, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just gonna begin clearing all the wood here. I've already started, and yeah. I'm gonna clear the wood. It spread far, man. It went all the way to the mining base, and it went all the way over here. So, I mean, I'm kind of glad we turned off FireTick. To be completely honest, I don't care if it's not in-game and this is just part of the game. This is painful. Like, this is genuinely, like, this is so much work, and it's not fair to have this just happen in the world and just know that this can happen. Maybe when the next update comes out, because in that update there's this thing that can capture fireworks, fire, lightning. Maybe I'll do that. To be honest, I probably won't because I don't care. This is not something I'm willing to go through again. It is so much work to cover this entire forest just to protect myself from this. So I'm gonna turn off FireTick. It's already turned off, and I've already restarted the session. And yeah, I'm just gonna mine down and clear this bloody forest. I'm gonna light it up now that it's dark and I can see. So I guess that's one advantage. Well, I could always just do that. Everything's gonna be non-spawnable up here, so that when I finally start to regrow it, I don't need to worry about some parts being too dark because it'll already have been under the most darkness possible. So yeah. Man, I was so excited to get this episode started. Pardon my voice, I've just woken up, but I'm just finishing up lighting up the area here, and I think we're just about done. Here are the saplings I was able to retrieve. We're looking at about 32 jungle saplings, because that's how many you need in total, 35. We're looking at 64 minimum dark oak saplings and another additional 11, making that 75 dark oak trees. And then we have around 43 oak saplings. Now we can always increase that. We have more oak saplings. We have plenty of oak saplings. It's just dark oak and jungle that we don't have that many of. I forget that we actually have a bunch of dark oak leaves in here. So I'm going to place these down in a place with haste. So let's see where that is. Let's just do it over here. And I'm going to mine all of these. Hopefully we get a substantial, maybe a few more trees at most. I'd be happy with a few more if we can get up to maybe 80 dark oak trees. So I mined up all the extra leaves we found, and in total now we have 64 plus 19. That divides into 16, and then we have an extra 3 dark oak saplings. Maybe I can show you here. Yep. 3 plus 16, so that's 19. Total we have 83 dark oak trees that we can grow. So I'm going to begin growing them now. And I'm really not sure how to go about this. I think I'm going to grow a couple extra mushrooms over here, here, there. More oak trees. But overall, I'm going to try and make it look the same. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'll try. I didn't know this could happen. A beehive. Or a bee nest. Spawned in with the, while I was bone mealing an oak tree. I didn't know that could happen. I thought that was, I thought they didn't let that happen. I forgot they needed to update you guys, but yeah, I kind of demolished this forest. I enchanted an axe because it's, I think, more, I think you use less durability while breaking leaves with an axe. I don't know though. And yeah, I absolutely demolished this forest. This looks burnt. This looks proper burnt. But yeah, no. I put in Breaking in Fortune, which is how I got all these saplings. And now, I mean, you can hear it in my voice. I am so happy, guys. You have no idea. Like, if we're right as we come over here, you'll see our forest is coming back. Like, okay, ignore all this clear stuff, like where it's not back. But like, look here. It doesn't even look like there was a fire here. Earlier, there was nothing here. There wasn't even this tree or this tree. Maybe there was that tree. I think there was this tree. Oh, this tree's looking a bit janky, but you get my point. It's coming back, and it's coming back strong, and it makes me so happy. But I think I'm going to do the rest of this off camera. I'm going to continue saplinging it. If I run out, I'm just going to go back to that forest and break some more leaves. Let's move on to something else for now. So I think I figured out what we're going to be doing in the second half of the episode. So it won't be technical, as I said. This will be beginning the project of building a library. And I'm circling this area because we're going to build it right here. Above ground. Yes, we're going for a big above ground build. I know, quite daunting. We'll probably have a bridge going out to it, and it'll be this big castle looking thing. I actually have no idea if it's going to be a castle, a cathedral, how it's going to look. I have no idea. I'm going to be brainstorming from now on, but I know that I want to build it, and I want to make it look like some mosses growing up. And yeah, so you might be like, a library, what are you going to store there? Well, we're going to store books and non-stackable items. So that includes buckets. Sorry, I just realized buckets are stackable. They literally are stacked right here. But non-stackable items, kind of like totems of undying, tools, they're not that common, so it's mostly going to be books we're storing. Music discs, we don't have that many, but I think you kind of get me. Anything that's non-stackable we'll be storing there, but for the most part, it's going to be centered around books. But we're not going to build that in this episode. I already have a whole design for the storing system and requesting system. I'll get to that in another episode. For this episode, I'm solely trying to figure out how are we going to build the library? What design are we going to go for? So as I said, I'm going to brainstorm and I'll come back to you guys with some ideas. Also, just a quick side note, but do you ever like return to your world and kind of realize how much you've changed it? Like, looking back, this was all a forest. This entire island, this entire thing was covered in trees. There were like dots of like ground here. There was no jungle trees. I remember when I was like positioned right under here, like placing blocks. And I felt like anything past this point was just no man's land, because how am I even gonna get past that? Like, I remember looking out and being like, this is the start to something beautiful. Yeah, just being nostalgic about the beginning of this series, that's all. So here we are in a creative world. I think we're gonna do the bridge on this side of the thing, because I have plans later to create an exit to our base from this side of the mountain. So it would ease very well if we had a path which went on and went to the swamp from there, from here to the swamp library. Now, I don't want to build with dark oak because it's literally all we build with. But it's just such a, especially with a swamp, it's dark green. We're kind of going for more earthy colors. Dark oak works so well. So this either might be the last build we do with dark oak, or maybe we'll branch out. Let me look at some other ideas and maybe we can find something I like. I know I said I didn't want to use dark oak, but I ended up with this design. I'm very happy with it. I don't know if we'll keep the slabs here, but I think we will. Here, let's set it today. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. Look, we're on day 1700. I do set time set day. day 0. But whatever. It's a creative world. I do not care. So that's the pathway. I still haven't figured out the stairs, but the pathway I have figured out. So now we just need to get the corners. And I don't want to make it like all blocky and straight. I want to make it like fluid, so that it does like have to like, you know, adapt and move about, and we'll see how I do that. Yeah, so I'm just going to create the outer bit of it, and then I'll show you what I have. A year and a half later, not really, but you know what I mean, I finally finished up with just the edge. And this is just designing it. Like, we haven't even started building it yet. But that, I guess that's how it is with bigger builds like this. So yeah, this is just the dock. I haven't added any other details. It's just a dock, and I think this is kind of the design we're gonna go for. I'm gonna go for a bit of a mansion look, and yeah. I think we'll have a front porch here, so we'll probably have a bit of a like inclined area up here. And I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it. I do want to kind of have like an ability to like look down at the water and kind of realize like, hey, we are on a bit of a deck up here. So yeah, we could have like a front porch like this. We'll use different fences just to like make it clear like, hey, that's the upper section. So yeah, I'm gonna start building the mansion now. But this is a huge project, because then after we have the whole mansion built, we have to figure out how are we going to do the sorting system for all the items. So yeah, this is just a simple command block. Every time it goes night, it sets it back to day, just so I don't need to do it manually. Okay, well I think I pretty much finished the design for the house. As you can see, it looks pretty nice. I hope. Yeah, we built this over stream, so we streamed it, we designed things. I was interacting with chat. They had the idea of switching to warped wood because it was much better than prismarine, because we didn't have a source for prismarine. So someone suggested I use warped wood. So that's why we're using warped wood, because it's much easier to get. Yeah, the last time you saw this, it was just this like main dock thing. Now we have both floors, we have the roof, we have a chimney. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So now it's just to move this over to survival. And because we have the general design working, I don't really need to design the other sides because I know how it's going to look. It kind of all follows a rule. This does have a center point between here. I think this also has a center point. This is a more rough center point here, but this also has a center point. I mean, I'm talking about the roofs here. So generally, we know how to expand this design and keep on building it. So yeah, now all that's left to do is to take this over to survival. Okay, so I just finished up farming gold to repair my tools, and also we got all the wood we'll be needing, I think. So you might be like, what wood are we using? Well, as I showed you, we're using a lot of dark oak. We'll be using some oak. Not that much oak, like really not that much. I just bought a shulker of it. A shulker of spruce, and we just got a shulker of warped stems. So for the first section, we're mainly using spruce. So let's actually just switch them out, because we're using spruce and dark oak for the most part for this first, just like the dock area, like the stuff just coming out. So I'm going to go to the other world, note down all the coordinates, and then from there we can kind of just build out the frame. And yeah. So I thought I'd talk a bit, because I've just finished the frame here and we're about to move on to finishing the first floor, at least the facade of the first floor. I thought I'd talk a little about building such a big thing and things I've learned from designing such a large structure. And so let me just finish up the final slabbing, and let's switch over to the creative world. So over here in the creative world, I thought I'd like just briefly touch on the things I've learned while designing such a big mansion. I mean, I've literally never built something of this size. I think the closest thing would be the slime farm, about 1,000 blocks away. I mean, over here we're looking at the castle and it's just a facade, but I took a lot of the design philosophy from this castle and applied it to the mansion. You might be like, what kind of design philosophy? They look completely different. Well, with this mansion, it wasn't built in a very like orderly manner. Like I didn't go around and be like, okay, we'll have a corner like here, and we'll have another corner here, corner here. We'll have it go out here, and we'll have the barge, and we'll have the entrance here. Like I went about it being like, okay, maybe we can go in there, go back out, maybe have a nice turn, go back in, go out here, go there, go there, go there, go in here, go like this, go like that. And it ended up with a shape like this, which is seemingly more natural than a structured layout. And I really like how it came out. So, yeah. And so I'm just putting out the fireplaces just because I've just placed it. And it made me realize, like, fireplaces, like, especially in this build, it's so insignificant. Like, once you have it, like, once we have this done, you're going to realize, why did you even bother, like, crafting basically 2 stacks of fireplaces just for that tiny detail? And I think that's, like, the beauty of building. It's a thing that the tiny things is, like, the small, like this. The fact that these are alternating fence gates. The fact that this is just all these small things add up and inevitably create a lot more detail than you might imagine. I mean, right now it still doesn't even look like a house. It just looks like a weird thing. But trust me, once this is done, you'll see how good this looks, and you will be in awe. You will be in utter awe, I tell you. And so I'm just putting out the fireplaces just because I've just placed it. And it made me realize, like, fireplaces, like, especially in this build, it's so insignificant. Like, once you have it, like, once we have this done, you're going to realize, why did you even bother, like, crafting basically 2 stacks of fireplaces just for that tiny detail? And I think that's, like, the beauty of building. It's a thing that the tiny things is, like, the small, like this. The fact that these are alternating fence gates. The fact that this is just all these small things add up and inevitably create a lot more detail than you might imagine. I mean, right now it still doesn't even look like a house. It just looks like a weird thing. But trust me, once this is done, you'll see how good this looks, and you will be in awe. You will be in utter awe, I tell you. But I think we're getting pretty close to the end of the episode. So just to finish off, I think we're going to do a tiny mini project. Or not a mini project, a mini just contraption. So this contraption will be an automatic anvil replacer. And so you might be like, how are we going to do that? And I'm going to show you. I'm going to walk you through the building process of a automatic anvil replacer. Now we won't do it here because we'd have to remove every single block because you can't push anvils. So we'd have to remove every single block. And I think if you dropped an anvil from that height, it would actually damage it. So it'd be not that great. Also, wait, we don't have that kind of space in our base. So we're actually going to do it back here because we do have space in our base here. I seem to have lost my cat, but that's no matter. How are we going to automatically replace a anvil, you might ask? And it's actually kind of simple. So we're going to need everything in this hopper. And let me walk you through how we're going to do it. So we're going to start off with an observer because we need to actually count the amount of updates an anvil goes through. So the first update, anvil dropping. And then an anvil will get damaged, and then it'll get heavily damaged, and then it'll break. So in total, that's 4 updates. So that's dropping, damaged, heavily damaged, and then when it breaks. So we want to be able to count every single one of those updates. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to use a dropper, and we're going to aim a hopper into that dropper. So basically every time an update happens, we're going to shoot an item into this hopper. And you might be like, oh, okay, I see. And we're going to use non-stackable items. I'm using wooden swords in this case because when it comes to comparators, they give much more like like with blocks, I need to have 23 blocks to differentiate from this. Wait. And that's another problem we have to encounter. We have to lock this hopper. But we use non-stackable items because this, to get up to a second signal, I'd have to put 22 more blocks in. So whereas with swords, you don't need to do that. But we're actually not going to have a huge redstone wire come out. We're going to point this comparator into another comparator. You might be like, why are you going to do that? Well, like the name, comparators can compare. So if I put in 4 swords into this dropper, and if I shoot those 4 swords into this hopper, and I like detect the signal from this, if this is greater than the output of this hopper, no signal will come out, so this redstone torch will stay on. But if this is greater than this torch will turn off. So we're going to have a baseline of 3, because if it's equivalent, a signal will still go through. But the second we go to 4, the redstone torch turns on. You might be like, wait, it was always on. Nope. Take that out, turns off. Take this out, still off. This out, still off. This, still off. So only once our counter has counted 4 times does this turn on. And you might be like, okay, so why does it turn on? Well, we actually just use it to power this block to, in turn, reset the counter. As you can see, it cleared the hopper, and now we have an automatic resetting counter system. So every time this gets to 4, resets the counter. So that's all well and good. And now you might be wondering, how are we going to drop the anvils? Well, we're going to have a piston, just retract the block and extend. And we're going to have another piston, just doing this. And so you might be like, oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. So now if we, just automatically like do it ourselves, it'll do that. Oh, but something went wrong. What went wrong? This didn't close in time. It was open for too long, and it dropped both anvils in. So we're going to actually mitigate that by using the signal that we get into this block, which turns this off, which retracts this. We're going to take that signal and we're going to put a 2-tick delay on it. So 2 ticks after this redstone torch turns off will power this piston again, leaving this open for only 2 ticks. So why is this? Do I need to update it? Yeah, I do need to update it. Normally you don't need to do that. I think it was only because it got locked by this. So now, if we place down our anvils and we make a sudo 4th update, the anvil drops. And as you can see, we already get the first counter because that dropping is 1 count. And so all we need to do now is just build all these anvils all the way up. But sadly, we won't get to see it replaced in this episode. Every time I use it from now on, I will record. So when the time does come that it breaks, we will witness it get replaced. But until that happens, I'll see you next time. And it will happen in the next episode. So I hope to see you there. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Consider subscribing, consider giving a like. Consider following the series to see that anvil drop and get automatically replaced with the automatic anvil replacement system, also known as ARS. See you next time.